continent of birds location, 40 kilometers south from the San Martin Antarctic base. 70 million years after the extinction of mankind, we have arrived to a drastically changed continent. While during the Anthropocene this place was an inhospitable and barren ice desert when little to none creatures adventured themselves to even try to conquer, now we find a green valley that rests alongside of a snowy mountainous chain and serves as the home for a plethora of different creatures, most of which have arrived to this continent by soaring from the southern coasts of Australia, Africa and South America. While walking on the valley we can hear many species of birds singing. Some are actually songbirds, descendant species similar to sparrows, robins and finches. Some others are descendants of seabirds that have convergently evolved similar features while adapting to the new created forest and fields. One of the most successful and diverse group of birds here are descendants of seagulls. Some have adapted to eat seeds and worms. Some are vulture-like scavengers, and some are even apex predators, like this one. This is a fully grown male member of a species known as butcher gull. As tall as a man, this predator is the largest carnivore of the continent, and is more than capable of taking down creatures almost twice as big as themselves. They can reach a speed of around 70 km per hour, and this allows them to hunt down very fast running prey, including the dunbirds, the kangaroo penguin and the giant coot. Occasionally they will also hunt small mammals, mostly relatives of rodents and shrews that manage to arrive to the continent drafting in mats of vegetation. But for an animal the size of a butcher gull, most mammals of the continent are little more than a snack. These birds are usually solitary creatures, and the males protect large extensions of territory that overlap with the ones of several females. If an intruder trespasses the territory of another male, they will engage in a violent physical confrontation that usually ends up in bloodshed. However, some small juvenile males can avoid this by acting like females. They will adopt a submissive posture, and imitate the characteristic singing pattern that females produce. This sneaky strategy might allow them to mate with unwarded females, but it comes with a cost, as most often the dominant male will waste no time in mounting them as well. During mating season, a large male like this one will mate with around 10 different females. Each one will lay 2 eggs, that will take around 3 weeks to hatch. The hatchling are born the size of a pigeon, and are almost immediately able to walk. They will start fighting for survival at an early age. The mother will raise only the strongest, so during their first months the 2 little chicks will be constantly fighting until one of them kills the other. The surviving chicken will spend around 2 years with their mother, time which they will be taught how to hunt. The method is simple. Use their superior speed to close the distance between them and their prey, and once close enough deliver a series of precise and strong strike with their razor-sharp beaks to induce blood loss. Once the prey falls, they will use their claws and beaks in conjunction to rip open the belly and introduce their bald head inside of the body to devour the innards. After that they will eat only the most fleshy part and leave the rest for the scavengers. These creatures have such a high rate of success in their hunts that they can allow themselves to be a little wasteful. There is almost no animal in this valley that they can't take down. The key word is almost, as there is one creature here that no predator would think to mess around fault with. The colossus stock. This is the largest bird alive, and is big enough to look down on an African elephant. With a weight of around 5 tons, their sheer bulk is enough to protect them from any attacker, with the exception of maybe another member of their own species. However, confrontations are extremely weird. These animals are gentle giants and only get aggressive when something threatens their younglings. The chicks are born around the size of a duck. As the biggest bird of the planet is also owner of the record of the biggest egg of any vertebrate, they form monogamous pairs and both parents devote all their time and energy in parental care. Around 90% of the chicks survive their first year alive, what is very rare in nature in general. These animals are herbivore and can eat around 500 kilograms of vegetation in a single day. In order to find as much food, they spend most of the day and night feeding. They are actually able to eat while sleeping, applying a form of unhemispheric sleep. To accomplish this, the ability to keep on moving is something they share with many of their cousins, and is an adaptation that their ancestors developed millions of years before even arriving to the continent, when they were migratory birds not bigger than a goose. Beneath the feet of these titans we can spot a small and sneaky creature catching the grasshoppers and crickets that escape from the disturbance caused the march of the giants. This is a kangaroo penguin, one of the few species of penguin that managed to colonize the grasslands and forests that emerged once the ice caps retreated. The kangaroo penguin is around the same size as their Anthropocene ancestors, with a maximum height of 50 centimeters and an average weight of 2 kilograms. These creatures change their diet of fish and krill for insects and small vertebrates. They have developed a couple adaptations that distinguish them from most other currently living penguins. The most notorious is their legs. They're very long and allow them to reach a speed of around 30 kilometers per hour, much faster than any penguin on land. The other one is an egg pouch, looking very similar to the pouch of marsupial mammals. This is actually what gives them their name. Unlike the actual marsupials, the male is the one that has the egg pouch, and is the one that will take most of the responsibility of raising their young. Here we can find a male who is trying to impress a female by offering her a recently caught vole. She is not showing much interest just yet, but if he keeps bringing her food, she will eventually start accepting his advances. In the kangaroo penguin's world, the path to the heart of a female is through her stomach. This male is not the only one in the valley trying to impress a possible mate. This guy over here is a giant coot, one of the few remaining members of Gruamorpha and a direct descendant of the Andean coot. However, this animal has been living in this continent for more than 50 million years and has undergone major physical changes. Their wings have completely disappeared, the only trace being a couple vestigial bones at both sides of their rib cage. Also, their feet are no longer lobbed. These birds do not swim or fly, instead they run at high speeds over the plains and fend off predators with powerful kicks. There is a notorious sexual dimorphism between males and females. Every mating season the males will compete for ensuring themselves a clear in the forest, and there they will perform a show for the females. The function starts with the male singing. They can sing for days until a female approaches them. Once the female arrives, the male will not only produce a wide variety of sounds, but also dance, swinging and wagging its tail. If the female is receptive, she will start moving on circles around the male, and after a few minutes of this they will mate. Copulation takes only a couple minutes and then they will part ways. The giant coot is not a very social species, nor aggressive either. They tend to just ignore each other outside from mating. The chicks spend only about 3 months with their mother, and after that they will live on their own. On the opposite side of the spectrum we have the dunbirds. These gregarious creatures can form herds of up to 50 individuals and form disocial bonds with each other, not only their close relatives or mates, but also bonds of friendship among unrelated individuals that can last for a lifetime. They feed mostly on grass but occasionally also treat themselves with some berries and nuts. These ones are gorging themselves with Antarctic peppers, a species that mammals avoid but birds love. The dunbird is very fond of them and therefore help with seed dispersal. The dunbirds are some of the most common flightless birds of the continent and can be found in all sort of environments, from forest and open plains, to the icy tundra and snowy mountains. Their thick coat of feathers help them endure even the harshest winters, and they can slow down their metabolism quite a bit, allowing them to survive long periods of time with little food. Thanks to these adaptations, the birds have managed to thrive in regions where other birds wouldn't last very long. We are about to leave this land of birds, and as we leave behind the herd of dunbirds and the plains where they feed, and arrive to a rocky coast full of a wide variety of species of penguin, this view is pretty similar to how the continent used to be in the Anthropocene, just that instead of seals we have these creatures. This is the Poseidon penguin, with an average weight of 280 kilograms, is the largest penguin species alive, and the apex predator of the Antarctic Sea. As in these cold regions no sharks or marine reptiles could try to compete with them. They feed on fish, squids, crustaceans and other smaller species of penguin. They catch their prey with their huge beaks and a tongue full of needle-like protuberances that not only conduct the prey to their throats but are also capable of screwing soft body organisms, like this unfortunate common Antarctic squid. They form monogamous couples, and both parents share the responsibility of both incubating the egg and protect the chicks. These birds are facultatively fully aquatic animals, as they don't have the need of going to land to reproduce. Their ancestors evolved to incubate their eggs inside their beaks in a special chamber that keeps them warm and provide with air around the same time that the ancestors of the kangaroo penguin developed their egg pouch, what might be related with the arrival of land-dwelling predators to the continent. However, if they wish to, they can slowly crawl on land just like the ancient seals. They rarely ever do it though. The family of Poseidon penguins finally swims away and we head away from this land of birds to continue exploring what life has become, 70 million years after the Armageddon.